I'm going to finish the ARCHON quest with the randomized team. We're trying to unlock and explore the waypoints on the map. We have to travel all the way from Cimmeru to the desert area. Because if you're like me and haven't finished most of Inasuma's quests and explore the new regions, you're going to not want to miss out on all the events coming up. Comment below what your thoughts are on the ARCHON quest so far. Before we get into the video, please like and subscribe to finish the story with me, and let's try to reach 20 likes. You might want to stay till the end to see which 5-star I received. There it is! Oh my god, okay. Oh my god! Before we start the ARCHON quest, let's roll for our characters. Looks like we have Ayaka, and Fiona, Chinchu, and Barbara. Well, this team is looking pretty solid and safe, especially with Ayaka being my main DPS and Fiona shielding me at all times. So I was gonna start the ARCHON quest. Well, I thought. I realized I needed to clear Kazuha's quest. Just a quick recap. A sword possessed someone's brother, and he went to investigate as to why he was randomly acting different and attacking people. We investigated only to find his brother. We then realized he was being controlled by a sword. The sword then explains it was trying to feel useful again and trying to restore the Ishin art. Kazuha battles the sword and defeats him. Then the sword reconsiders and decides to let Kazuha wield him. In exchange, Kazuha promises to continue to learn the art of Ishin. Kazuha allows the sword to take over his body, in which then he reforges himself into a better quality sword.
Thank you, son of the Kaedehara clan. Over the years, my real name has been forgotten by all. I'm ashamed to utter it, yet it remains strong in my mind. Kagotsurube Ishin. This name is now yours to keep.
A satisfying end indeed. That marks the end of the sword arc, which will later on play a part in the story. Meanwhile, we are still farming Lisa's ascension material. We've gotten incredibly lucky and acquired 3 ascension materials each time we have farmed the cube. One more and we can ascend her to level 80. We're going to be running her with a set of emblems of Sever Fates instead of Glided because I plan on using her as a sub DPS. The only issue is we need an attack stance for Zhao. I've been farming for a month straight with no luck. We left off finding out that the skies of Teyvat weren't real based on the Dr. Dotore had told us. In exchange for the gnosis, Dotore deletes all versions of himself in different timelines.
Take it. The future of Cimmeru City will be in my hands alone.
Not to mention, we later find out that our sister was recorded in the Irminsul, which shouldn't be possible since she isn't part of this world either, yet there's still record of her 500 years ago.
Focusing single-mindedly on confronting the heavenly principles, we neglected our original mission, the revival of the homeland. I should not have been so indecisive.
The device is almost ready. We await your command.
Now we're handed with a task to try to figure out what happened to our sibling and why they showed up 500 years ago. So we set out.
It was my idea to set the Balladeer free. We made a deal, and he's gonna do some investigation in Irminsul for me.
Nahida asks us to look after the Balladeer for her. The Balladeer goes into Irminsul to find answers about himself and to see if he can find any information about our sibling. Quickly, the Balladeer learns that his friend Niwa was tricked by the doctor disguised as a mechanic. Then soon after, Niwa realizes that the mechanic is a fake, proceeds to stab him, ultimately killing him. The Balladeer realizing he was tricked, he then agrees to share some personal information not in Irminsul about our sibling. So he creates a barrier that not even Nahida is able to penetrate and hear us. The Balladeer soon after asks the traveler if the past can be changed, and before we are able to answer that question, he receives his answer based on our facial expression. Without hesitation, he goes inside Irminsul to change the past with the little power that he has left. Nahida immediately tells us not to worry, she will do everything in her power to make it right. We head back to the hotel and Paimon mid-sentence ends up forgetting everything, and we then realize that the name Balladeer is no more. He ended up going back in time to change history and ended up ultimately erasing himself. We set out to gather information to see if history and the people we cared about changed significantly. So we ended up heading to Inazuma, where we realized that not much had changed. Ayato, Ayaka, and Kazuha were still safe, but anything related to the Balladeer was no more. The traveler eventually comes clean to Nahida surrounding the Balladeer's existence. Nahida obviously didn't have any recollection of him, but she managed to store a fairy tale in Irminsul, which summed up the Balladeer's existence. She later explains that she wrote the fairy tale as a backup, and knew that Balladeer, now known as the Wanderer, would make a choice to accept his past and his sins. He confesses that he felt empty as if part of him was missing. He makes the choice to finally accept his memories.
Set him free?
A puppet? What's he doing here? You're a human as far as I'm concerned.
Everyone's here. Wonderful. What a fine blade. Nagamasa will be thrilled. This is my...
The moment he accepts his memories, he then receives an animal insignia in which he uses to save our life. Now that ends up concluding the end of the Archon quest.
Die.
Now we must set out to travel the unseen regions of the desert, unlocking the waypoints and uncovering all of the land. More of the map will be seen. Another one. Beating the Archon quest, unlocking all the regions. The gods have granted my wish. Finally, Ammo's bow.